In May 1916, 3 men crossed mountains no human had ever crossed. 36 hours of glacier, ridgeline, and blinding cold on South Georgia Island. The ship had been crushed by pack ice months earlier. Survival meant crossing an unmapped mountain range to reach a whaling station. All 3 later said the same thing. There had been a 4th person with them, walking beside them, guiding them. They could not see this figure, but they could feel him. Ernest Shackleton, Frank Worsley, and Tom Crean were experienced explorers. They were not prone to fantasy, yet each independently reported the presence of an unseen companion. This was not an isolated incident. Solo sailors adrift for weeks have described the same experience. Mountaineers trapped at altitude, aviators on long transoceanic flights, prisoners in solitary confinement. The experience is remarkably consistent. A benevolent presence, unseen but felt, walking alongside, offering wordless reassurance. What is this figure? And why does the brain summon it at the edge of survival? The phenomenon has a name. Researchers call it the sense presence. Psychologist Peter Suedfeld documented it across decades of exploration accounts, finding reports stretching back centuries. The pattern is striking. The experience emerges under specific conditions: extreme isolation, physical exhaustion, monotony of environment, and a critical element, mortal danger. In the 1950s, sensory deprivation experiments revealed something unexpected. When healthy volunteers were placed in isolation tanks with no light, no sound, no social contact, many began to perceive presences. Figures standing nearby, voices whispering. The brain, starved of input, began manufacturing its own. This was not psychosis. The subjects knew these perceptions were not real. Yet the experiences felt vivid, immediate, involuntary. Modern neuroscience offers a framework. The human brain is a predictive engine. It generates models of what should be happening around it, then checks those predictions against sensory input. When input matches expectation, perception feels normal. When input fails, the brain's predictions begin to fill the void. The brain's social circuitry is especially active. Regions like the temporoparietal junction, which helps distinguish self from other, evolved to monitor for other minds. We are, at our neurological core, social organisms. The brain expects company. When social input drops to 0, the prediction system does something remarkable. Rather than concluding the person is alone, it generates a presence. The social monitoring machinery, idling without fuel, produces a companion that is not there but feels utterly real. The presence is almost always benevolent. Researchers believe this reflects the brain's stress regulation under threat. A calming figure reduces fear, lowers stress hormones, and sustains the will to survive. The brain manufactures not just any companion, but the companion it needs. Here is the key insight. The sensed presence is not a malfunction. It is the brain doing precisely what it was built to do, maintaining social connection, pushed to its extreme by conditions it was never designed to endure. The 4th man on South Georgia was not a ghost. He was the brain's deepest reflex, made visible by the silence around it. The implications extend beyond polar exploration. Astronauts on long-duration space missions have reported similar experiences. Isolated researchers in Antarctica, patients in intensive care units stripped of normal social rhythm. Our brains are structured around the assumption that other minds exist. When that assumption is violated, the brain corrects the error by creating what should be there. This raises difficult questions about prolonged isolation. Solitary confinement does not merely deprive. It destabilizes the very systems that maintain coherent selfhood. The sensed presence may be the brain's distress signal, evidence that the social machinery is breaking down. There is something deeply human about this experience, not in its extremity but in its cause. The brain, pushed beyond every limit, reaches for connection before anything else. Not water, not shelter, company. We tend to think of ourselves as individuals first, self-contained units navigating a world of others. But the neuroscience suggests the opposite. The self is built around the expectation of others. Remove that expectation, and the self begins to fray. Shackleton never fully explained the 4th man. He mentioned it rarely. Worsley wrote about it only years later. We have that language now. The fourth man was the brain, refusing to abandon its own. A companion summoned not from outside, but from within, the deepest proof that we were never meant to face the dark alone.